We should be clear about who Charlie Kirk was. His rhetoric and beliefs were ignorant, uneducated, and sought to disenfranchise millions of Americans, and accused Jews of controlling, quote, not just the colleges, it's the nonprofits, it's the movies, it's Hollywood, it's all of it.
Okay, guys. I know I'm a few days late. Hold your tomatoes. We're still gonna cover it. I wanna talk about AOC's speech on Charlie Kirk. As Republicans, the day of this speech, were moving to name a day in his honor. It egregiously somehow got passed, and I believe that she's the one who hit the mark perfectly in how Democrats should respond to this. So leave us a like on the video, helps us out a ton, gives us a boost in the algorithm, and let's get right to the speech.
We can deeply disagree and come together as a country to denounce the horror of this killing. And it is not a license for the abuse of power and whitewashing of American history. Today's resolution only underscores the majority's recklessness by choosing to author this condemnation and honoring on a purely partisan basis, instead of uniting Congress in this tragedy with one of the many bipartisan options to condemn political violence and Kirk's murder, as we did with the late Melissa Hortman. Instead, the majority proceeded with a resolution that brings great pain to the millions of Americans who endured segregation, Jim Crow, and the legacy of bigotry today.
That is spot on. To start, Charlie Kirk is a husband. He's a father. He's a son, right? And for that, the first reaction to watching him be brutally murdered should be empathy, without a doubt. It should be taken with grace, even if you think that he wouldn't have given you the same grace, regardless of your opinion on him, because there are those who it will affect personally, on a personal level, and that is something to empathize with. And that's why I did that. I tried to push that for everyone to do, but Charlie Kirk's dying does not absolve him of his sins. And I hate that MAGA is trying to do that, because it takes us to these conversations that, in my opinion, we didn't have to have. I mean, but it's been 11 days now, so we're in no way obligated to pretend that he was something that he wasn't, or to not have these conversations, especially when they're forcing our hand, to not share his words or remember the harm that his words caused millions. Charlie Kirk was not a good person. He does not deserve to be honored. His legacy, his impact should not be remembered, and saying as much should not be controversial. And in my opinion, the fact that it is just shows how America has not moved past bigotry and racism in the way that we like to pretend that we have.
We should be clear about who Charlie Kirk was. A man who believed that the Civil Rights Act that granted Black Americans the right to vote was a mistake. Who, after the violent attack on Paul Pelosi, claimed that, quote, some amazing patriot, unquote, should bail out his brutal assailant. And accused Jews of controlling, quote, not just the colleges, it's the nonprofits, it's the movies, it's Hollywood, it's all of it, unquote. His rhetoric and beliefs were ignorant, uneducated, and sought to disenfranchise millions of Americans.
I mean, he undoubtedly had some questionable things to say about Black people, which we'll get into, but like, if you just look at his comments about Jews or Arabs, it gets really messed up. Like, you don't even have to look at the Black community to make the point about this man being racist or a bigot. Again, no way that you could not make the case Charlie Kirk was a good man without just lying. Literally not one argument for it. As she stated, this is someone who truly believed and repeatedly espoused the globalist nonsense, which has led to massive amounts of harm for the Jewish community. The idea that there's an evil cabal of Jews that control everything. He has said, he's on record saying that Jewish money is funding anti-white politics. He literally made fun of the genocide in Gaza, saying, well, there's no more tall buildings for them to throw gays off before. And you should watch the clip with like all the malice in the world saying, stupid Muslims. And then like not laughing about it either, like to show he was dead serious. Then you could get into like his regular slurring of trans people. Go look at his debates where he's regularly titling them trannies, freaks, all of this. This is all before you get into him disparaging MLK, the Civil Rights Act, his racist characterization of DEI, comments about Black pilots, doctors, Michelle Obama, and others. Like, the cognitive dissonance to deny this is astounding. And it's also telling, right, that you would want to defend bigotry this bad, that you would jump through all these mental hoops to do so.
All in the name of Charlie Kirk, President Trump and the FCC are now cynically threatening to shut down ABC and any outlets who give airtime to the administration's political critics. This is a disgusting attack on the American people and the very First Amendment rights that define us as a country. It is also the ABC Corporation's responsibility to refuse to embolden and participate in this corruption and escalation of censorship. We continue to pray for Mr. Kirk's family and loved ones in the wake of this terrible act. I am thinking especially of his children and his wife, whose grief cannot be measured.
This is another pattern here I believe most of us have caught on to. But I would like everyone to have, where Republicans, when out of power, use victimhood as the pathway to get that power. Then when in power, they use tragedies as the pathway to authoritarianism. This is the cycle they'll forever try to stay in, largely because legislatively they're just losing. And it's why tragedies that don't fit their political agenda just get ignored. It's why Trump did a video announcement for Charlie Kirk the day that he was shot, but didn't even do a Truth Social post for Evergreen High School, shot up the same day. It's why Vance hosted the Charlie Kirk show in remembrance of Charlie Kirk, has gone to his funeral, has done all of this, but couldn't even pay homage to those shot in Evergreen High School. It's why Trump and Vance couldn't even go to Melissa Hortman's funeral, right? They only care so much that they can politicize these things and push forward some sort of an authoritarian agenda from it, right? And you see it each and every time, which is why when Republicans are in charge, the tragedies never get fixed. They should not be taken serious when they try this. And there is something to be said about Democrats no longer cucking out to this sort of behavior from Republicans when it's so obvious that that's what they want to do.